Good morning, everybody. Hope you slept well. Hope you're doing well. I had the hardest conversation I've ever had with a customer yesterday. This old lady, she comes into the shop all the time, and she inherited her mother's car, and she likes driving her mama's car. But I noticed that every time this car comes back in, it's more banged up and more banged up and more banged up. And she's 85 years old, and she's still driving. She's still getting up every day. She's a landlord. She's got an apartment building that she has to take care of, and she's heavily involved in the church. Yesterday, I noticed that we just put tires on her car. We just put almost $900 worth of tires on this car. Two 45 55 18s. They're Nexen something. It's a $230 tire. It's the cheapest ones I had at the time through our supplier. So she bought them. And I noticed 4 months later, the front right tire has got a nipple in it where she had made contact with a pothole, a really big Chicago pothole. And I says, Miss Johnson, that tire is no good. It's compromised, and we're gonna end up having to replace it and try to cover it under warranty. But something like this, they're not gonna take care of. Typically, when it's potholes and abuse like that, they're not gonna take care of that. And she says, I'll just pay for the tire. Just get it for me, and then I'll come back tomorrow whenever it comes in. So I order the tire. Tire comes in. Call Miss Johnson up. She comes in, and then while the tire's being installed, I have my guy install. He's really fast at installing tires. Very good. I go up front and I sit down next to her, and I said, Miss Johnson, I'm gonna get a little personal with you, and you may not like it. I don't know, but I feel like we've built up a good enough relationship now to where I can voice my concern on something if I see something. And she said, yes, go ahead. And I said, well, every time that car comes back in here, it's more and more banged up. One time you said you was backing out of the garage, and you grabbed the bumper and you ripped the bumper and stuff off, and it took us about an hour, and we fastened it all back up and got it up there for you. Then you tell me another time you were pulling into a parking spot, and you hit the side of or the corner of a building or something like that, and you damaged the car. Then we had to fix it again. Then there was a third time where you were going to back away from a spot, and you grabbed the bumper of the car next to you and ripped the bumper off again, and we had to fix it again. We can't keep fixing this car. And this car keeps looking more and more banged up every time you come in here. And I said, I don't know what's going on in your personal life, but at some point you're going to have to look at yourself and just be straight up and say, at what point do I stop driving? And she looked at me, and I said, I didn't mean to offend you or anything. And she said, well, I'm under a lot of pressure in my life. And I said, I understand that. But does that amount of pressure that you're under equate to you pulling out and hitting somebody and them losing their baby or their father or their mother or their aunt or uncle or their daughter or son? Does that equate to you being careless because of your age and not realizing the depth of and the seriousness of what you're going through, where you end up hurting yourself or another family member that's riding with you? I'm concerned for you, and I don't know what else to say other than to let you know that it may be time for you to consider finding a driver, taking more public transportation, and not driving everywhere. I understand that that's hard for you to do, and you're a very independent woman, but I don't think it's safe for you to be on the road anymore. And I said, look, I'm gonna leave it at that. You can say, if you want, you can respond. If not, I'm gonna go back and finish getting your car ready for you, and that's all I have to say. I'm just very concerned. And she said, I understand you are. Guys, I don't think it was inappropriate for me to have that conversation with her. I actually wish that maybe one of her family members, her daughter or her son or her pastor, would have been there, so I could have that conversation with them as well. I have my family out here on these roads. I don't want somebody like that that's constantly banging their vehicle up, constantly pulling the bumper off, constantly banging into stuff at 85 years old on the road driving, knowing darn well that eventually somebody's going to get hurt. Don't be afraid to have that conversation with one of your customers. Don't be afraid to find somebody in the family that you trust that's been coming to you and say, hey, look, this is what's going on with your mama. This is what's going on with your aunt or your uncle. And it doesn't look good. Don't be afraid to have that conversation. Please. It may save somebody's life. It may save your life, your child's life, your wife, your husband. You never know. A really good friend would save that person's life themselves. Don't be afraid to have that conversation, please. It's very, very important to recognize the signs of when an elderly person or a person is no longer physically able to be on the road in a functioning manner without hurting other people. And I wish there was something more that I can do, but there's not. I said what I've said, and I hope she considers it. The next time I see her pastor or her daughter, I'm going to bring it up to them and have that conversation as well with them. It's just time. It's time for her to be off the road. It really is. She's 85 years old. She don't need to be driving no more. She can barely walk as it is. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I love y'all. Be blessed. Take care. I hope this video finds you well. And today is supposed to be a beautiful day. I noticed the neighborhood's not all croaking with cicadas making noise all over the place. I guess Illinois is one of the main states that got it, not really anywhere else. Indiana, they were saying they didn't get it. Michigan, they were saying they didn't get it. Wisconsin didn't get it. Most of Chicago didn't get it. It was all out in the suburbs of Illinois where they just popped up. And you can see thousands of them all over the ground, and they're not really on the trees as much anymore. So I think we're ending that, maybe like another 3 or 4 weeks left, and we won't see any more of them. I hope anyway. You can hear them every once in a while. I heard one just now. But hopefully cicada season though is winding down to its end, because these things, to me, honestly, they are disgusting, and I'm not scared of them or anything. It's just they're disgusting. I don't want nothing to do with them. I guess they make good lawn fertilizer. Be blessed. Have a great day.